What's going on, family? Listen, welcome back to another YouTube channel with Jalen and Mike. Listen, guys, we're excited for this one because this is where you make your money, right? This is where you make your money. So today, y'all, we're going to talk about how to master the close, right? This is where you make all your money. So we want to provide you guys with all the information, the tips, the tricks on how to master the close so you can take more money back home to your family, take those luxury vacations you'd like to take, and it all starts here, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And I want to start off by saying this, guys. A lot of agents, the reason why they're not closing a lot of deals is because they're super transactional, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is, guys, be less transactional. Rather than being transactional, you want to come from a place of caring for your client, right? Like you want to care for them. And the best way to show the client that you care for them is by offering a solution to what? Their problems.
That's it.
That's why in one of our other videos, we talked about the importance of the discovery, because if you don't know why the client is requesting information, it's going to be challenging for you to get to the end and close on the deals.
Yeah.
Mike, what you got to share about that?
That's true. So the discovery is really important. The presentation, the actual information you share with the client about how the policy works is even more important. And also building rapport throughout your presentation is even more important. So now we're talking about the close. We're wrapping everything together now. So point number one, Jalen.
Point number one is you want to make sure that you're super confident in what you're offering, right? Like don't be coming shaking in your boots
Yeah.
because your budget doesn't match your client's budget
Right.
and you're trying to spend with their income. No, you want to be super confident in what you're offering them, and what you're offering them is the best thing for them.
Yeah.
Right? So be confident. Clients like to work with people who are certain and who are confident in what they can actually give them. Right? That's why Mike's close ratio is so high, because when he's showing an option or a quote to the client, he already knows 1000% that he did everything he could to put that client in the best position. He figured out the budget, right? He figured out why they requested information. He figured out all the clients, all the reasons why the client needs insurance. So you have to make sure you're confident as a TAC, because clients love to work with people who can tell them what is best for them.
You want to just pretty much assume the sale.
Exactly.
Because honestly, we wouldn't even be at the close if I didn't get a good fact-finding discovery, good presentation. I didn't get a good, strong why the client needs this policy. So we're at the close. We're dancing right now. We're moving because they give me a strong reason why they need this policy.
Absolutely. So let's hop right into it, guys. So number two, you want to make sure that you at least give 3 carriers that the client could potentially get approved for, right? And it sounds like this, right? We understand that for insurance brokers, you work with multiple insurance carriers. So here's how you approach the close. Hey, Miss Betty, it looks like out of all the carriers, these 3 companies are going to give you the best benefits and the best rates, right? So Mutual of Omaha, Aetna, Gerber, these 3 carriers is looking like they're going to be the best ones to best qualify you, right? But Mutual of Omaha is going to be the one that's actually going to give you the best benefits and the best rates based on your qualifications and your health.
And you're saying all of this in the close, word for word.
Word for word.
So they should steal it word for word.
I would suggest so. I would suggest so.
Just making sure.
So I'll give it to you guys again. Hey, Miss Betty, out of all the carriers that we work with, it looks like Mutual of Omaha, Aetna, and Aflac are going to be the carriers that's going to best qualify you. Now, out of all the companies, Mutual of Omaha is going to give you the best benefits and the best rates, okay? Moving on to number 3. Guys, number 3, you want to make sure after you give the best benefits and the best rates and the company that's going to offer the client the best solutions, you want to make sure you share some benefits of the company. Share a little bit about the company. Mike, why is that so important?
Because I'm a nerd when it comes to insurance stuff. So I love showing clients some nerdy stuff. So, hey, Miss Klein, Miss Betty, we always pick on Miss Betty, Miss Betty, Aetna has been around for over 100 years, and they're based out of Tennessee.
Wow.
You like that, Miss Betty? Mutual Omaha has been around for over 100 years as well, and they're based out of Nebraska.
Right.
And then Gerber been around for a long time as well, and they're based out of who knows where. All right, so these will be the best 3 companies for you. Also, sometimes as brokers, as you already know, Jalen, there's some carriers like Royal Neighbors of America. Hey, Miss Betty, this carrier here, I love them so much. You know why? Why, Michael? Because they're their first company to ever give insurance to a woman back in 1895.
That's a closing point.
First
right there.
one right there.
That's good.
They love that, guys. Facts sell. And the cool thing about what Jalen did there just now for you guys, he gave the client carriers they recognize. So as brokers, there's like 20 to 25 different companies. There's so many. So I love to always tell the client one carrier they can definitely know based off of advertisement, and then another one that they may not know, but it may be the best thing for the client.
That's good.
So I give them 2 or 3 options, but the one may be one they definitely do not know. But the other 2 will be the ones they for sure know positive. They always definitely seen before on TV.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very, very important. So what Mike was telling you guys is like, make sure when you're sharing about the company that you want to go with, if they have some extra benefits about their policy, make sure you share that as well, right? Like SBLI, they have the funeral concierge plan, and it's very good for you to tell that client because those are extra selling points. All right. Let's move on to the next point. Number 4. After you share with the client what company will best qualify them, after you share about the carrier, you want to make sure you reshare the client's concerns and the reasons why they were looking for insurance in the first place. Like I said, that's why the discovery, the fact-finding area is so important, right? So I always like to bring back up 3 major reasons on why they said they requested information. So that could be number 1, hey, Ms. Betty, I understand earlier you said that your major concern was making sure that your son John isn't left with any funeral debt because you experienced a funeral in the past where you had to pay out of money, do GoFundMe, and it was very challenging for your family. Is that correct? That's correct.
Real quick though, Jalen. Real quick though. Yeah. You're going too fast with them. You got to slow down a little bit for them. So real quick though, I love what you just said, but you asked them a question at the end because when 2 agree, he's in the mix,
He's in the
right?
mix. Come on now.
So we can't just make a statement. We gotta, hey, yada 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 yada. You want his policy because of this reason. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Keep going. Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Number 2, right? Now, I know you shared a little bit earlier that you currently do not have any life insurance in place right now, and you want to make sure you can put something in place to be able to leave behind for your granddaughter. Is that right? That's right. All right, and then the last one, number 3.
Trial closes.
Trial right here. Number 3. Now, you did share with me a little bit earlier that you're looking for roughly around $15,000 to take care of the burial expenses, and your budget is around $100 a month. Is that right? That's right. So you want to make sure you reshare all the major concerns of the client before you give your options, right? Mike, do you have anything you want to share on that?
No, that's good. That's really good. You know, just like, hey, Ms. Betty, I know we're saying that a burial's gonna cost between $10,000 and $15,000. You seem like you're a very, very simple person, so that's all. That's pretty much all you need, right? Like just like you said, Jim, just trial closes.
Yeah.
Asking them questions based off what they told you. So, Jalen, I love that. That's beautiful. So, reiterate, guys. Number 1, go over the carriers. 2, the benefits of the carriers. 3, reiterate the client's why by asking them questions.
Correct.
Telling you, yes, that's the reason why. Now, 4, Jalen.
Number 4. Next, we're going into talking about the budget. Right now, we kind of do this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to share with you guys why it's so important for you to match and mirror your client's budget. Because I see a lot of agents, what they do is they'll come in and they never figure out what the client's budget is, and the client ends up overpaying for the policy, and then unfortunately, the client will end up falling off the books and lapsing out because they couldn't afford it, right? Or even worse, they'll end up not getting a policy because you never matched their budget. And in reality, their budget's only like $60 a month, but you show them quotes for $100, and that client's going to say, "Well, Jalen, I need to think about it," or "I'm not interested." And the reason why they're not interested, they want to think about it, is because the agent didn't do a great job by figuring out what the client's budget is.
Yeah.
So make sure you're always figuring out the budget, all right? Anything you want to share on that?
No, that's good, guys. I think for me, this is a me personal thing. Some agents are gonna probably, Mike, that's stupid. I'm like, hey, look at the numbers, facts don't lie. So the numbers showing, getting the client's budget is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can tell the client was before telling the discovery, hey, I had a policy before paying $150 a month and I couldn't afford that anymore. Well, let's not show that policy for over $150 in the closing, right?
Right.
The client says, hey, I really can only allocate about 40 to 60 to 80 bucks a month for this. Perfect. Show quotes to match that budget and show 3 different options, right, Jalen?
Correct.
We'll get to that here in a second.
All right, let's move on to the next one, guys. So you figured out what the client's budget is before showing the quotes, right? So now what you want to do, guys, is you want to make sure you hop right into the benefits of the policy, right? Because we just figured out what the client's reasons are, and we understand as entrepreneurs, it's our jobs to solve people's problems.
Yeah.
So now we just brought all the problems back up that the client shared in the discovery. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, these are the benefits to offset your problems.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
let's say we're talking about whole life insurance. So now we're going to say, okay, now Ms. Betty, again, I appreciate you sharing about all your concerns. Now with this policy here, this is going to be a what? A whole life policy, right? That protects you from the very first day the policy goes into effect. No 2-year waiting period. Now, only say that if they do get approved for day one, all right? Like, don't be lying to these clients, all right? No 2-year waiting period. It is a permanent life coverage that protects you your whole life. The premiums never change. The benefits never change. So you never have to worry about that price increasing on you or the benefits decreasing on you, all right?
I love that, Jalen. I love this guy. So, Jalen, the benefits, we already went over the benefits before in the presentation, right?
Correct, yeah.
But our clients, 50 to 85, they need to hear things 2 times.
Yeah.
They need to hear it 2 times. So, like Jalen said, the benefits, tell them how the policy works, and even give them examples. Hey, you're about to get day 1 coverage. It's also known as first day coverage. That means this. There's an example here. If you were to pass away in the next 2 or 3 months, God forbid, the full amount of the policy would pay out to your son, John.
That's beautiful.
And then, hey, this policy, the rates never changes. That means as you pay for this policy, as it goes on, your monthly payments would never go up. Is that important to you?
Oh, that's a good one.
Is that important to you?
That's good. I like that.
And then this policy, your age and your health, if your age goes, here's an example, if your age goes up, and your health was to change in the future, which I hope it does not, this policy would never be affected because of those reasons.
I love that.
Is that important to you? This policy builds cash value. Here's the example. Write this, John, I know you're watching this. Write this down. Here's the example. This policy builds cash value. That means this. As time goes on, it's going to build interest. At any given time, you can take money out of the policy. Now, Ms. Betty, I think that's pretty cool. What do you think? Now, Ms. Betty, the last thing is the most important one. I'm a little biased, but I'll be your insurance agent forever. I like you, you like me. I think we're a good fit. What do you think? I'll be there to help your son, Donald, when you pass away. He can call me and work with me one-on-one while he's grieving at an emotional state. And I could be there to make sure that hardest day for him, there's a little bit of light there with me being there. Is that important to you?
That's super. Ooh. Hey man, you just enhanced my close right there. That was really good right there. I hope you guys took some notes on that. Like he almost sold me a policy, and I already got a few. Like guys, that was so good. After every benefit you share, you want to get the client to agree with you. You want to get them to agree with you. Is that important?
He said about my tone.
I heard the tone. I heard the tone. Is that important to you? Yeah, that's important to me. All right, and then you move on. Guys, I hope you guys are taking some notes right here, all right?
They're taking notes.
Now, let's move on. So now we talked about why the client requested information. You reshared that reason. And then we talked about the benefits of the policy and how to actually share it with your client. Now let's talk about the 3 options. Now, if you're in the insurance business and you're showing less than 3 options, you're not going to close that much.
Yeah.
If you're showing more than 3 options, you're definitely not going to close, right? You only want to show 3 options, right? Don't be showing less than 3 options and don't give them enough information, enough choices, but you also don't want to share more than 3 options where it can confuse the client, right? Like, have you guys ever went to like a Mexican restaurant,
Yeah.
right? And on the
Oh,
menu,
yeah.
and I love Mexican food, right? But on the menu, it's like 30,000 items,
They're all tacos.
and it's all tacos and quesadillas and all this different stuff. Great food, but listen, guys, it's going to confuse the client because when I go to those restaurants, I'm like, hey, okay, waiter or waitress, what's your favorite thing on the menu?
Yeah.
What's your favorite taco? What's your favorite quesadilla? Because I don't have time to look at the entire menu because what is it going to do? It confuses me. So it's the same thing when it comes to your clients. You only want to show 3 options. Give them enough choices, right? So here's how you share your options, right? So I like to go from highest premium to lowest. I know Mike likes to go from lowest to highest, right?
Yeah.
So for me, if a client says that they can afford about $100 a month, what I like to do personally, I got this from Mike, I like to actually go a little bit less than 100. Because in most cases, clients like to hype themselves up like, yeah, I can afford 100, but in reality, they can really only afford like 70 to 80. So I like to go around $80 a month. And if they tell me they want more coverage, then I know they can actually afford that $100, right? So I'll go around $80 a month. So I'll say, hey, Mr. John, out of all these options, you can do a $20,000 policy for just $80 a month, an $18,000 policy for just $70 a month, and a $15,000 for just $60 a month. Now, out of all these options, which one do you find the most attractive? I don't ask them which one they want to go with. I don't ask them which one they like the best because none of them like any of them. They don't want to pay for anything. Guys, nobody wants to pay for nothing.
Yeah.
So if you ask those questions, it automatically puts in their mind something negative. But if I ask them, hey, which one do you find the most attractive? They have to find the one in their mind. Their mind starts focusing on the one that is most attractive for what? Their budget. Which one do you find the most attractive? And after you ask that question, be quiet. Don't say anything else. They'll pick one. You circle it. And then your closing question is this. Who is going to be your beneficiary? Hush your mouth. Listen to what they share. They're going to say it's going to be my daughter, Sarah. You should head straight into the application. You assume the sale. Don't ask for the sale. You assume the sale, and you allow for the client to stop you along your process. In most cases, they're not going to stop you. I promise you guys, if you guys follow this simple step, you'll close a lot more deals. Mike, you got anything you want to share?
No, this is great, guys. Great video. We're close to the end here. We just recommend doing one-call closes. We recommend if you're doing face-to-face, do everything at the house. Don't leave the house. Like, just get everything done there. Time is money. Disclaimer, we talked about whole life today, right, Jalen? But we do also our brokerage named True Wealth Financial. We do term, IULs, you name it, we do it. But we know that agents like you are primarily doing final expense whole life policies. So this video is more about that kind of market there. So Jalen, this is a phenomenal video. So just to reiterate the closing, be confident, be less transactional. The first step is going to be naming the carriers you're going with, the benefits of the carriers, reassuring the client's concerns, figuring out the budget, giving them 3 options, and assuming the sale, and asking who is going to be a beneficiary, going straight into the application.
That's good. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys for hopping on this evening and listening to one of these videos. Guys, take this information, apply it immediately. And I promise when you do so, we'll see you at the top.